One of the biggest struggles when creating transformation is knowing where to start. Because typically we're in a circumstance where we're not dealing with a single issue, but there are lots of issues. And sometimes it's hard to tell when one issue stops and the next issue begins. And so finding that entry point is really hard. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my favorite technique for when I'm going after multiple issues at one time. This is Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 603, originally aired March 20th, 2024. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to be here with me. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Now, when we are navigating our life, when we are navigating our world, one of the unique things about being human is we can be of two minds. We have multiple things going on at once. And my favorite description of this ever came from a contestant on Project Runway. And I always love when a non-native speaker is trying to explain a concept because they don't have the large vocabulary of their native language. So they have to be creative and artistic and use whatever vocabulary they have to describe what is going on. And the way this contestant described it was, she said, it's like inside of my brain, there are 100 little brains and they're all fighting with each other. And I think that's such a great description of being of multiple minds and experiencing multiple things at once. And when that's the case, it can be really difficult for us to create transformation. When we're sitting down to tap to create relief, well, if I have all of these things going on at once, of those 100 little brains that are fighting with each other, of all of those emotions that are going on inside of us, where do we begin? Well, today we're going to talk about tapping and how I do that. If you are new to tapping and you've never tapped before, all you need to do is follow the little red arrow in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to learntotap.com, so you will understand the tool that we're going to be using here in just a little bit. So one of the ways I like to think about this as I'm engaging with it is I like to think about it almost like a constellation of emotions. And thinking about it as a constellation of emotions, for me, initially helps me to kind of start to wrap my arms around what I'm dealing with. Because with a constellation, each star is unique, but clustered together, they create a picture. And when we move them around, they interact with each other. And that's what it feels like emotionally. It's not an emotion, and it's not just this soup of emotion, but they're these distinct parts where I can feel like I'm angry and I feel like I'm frustrated, but I'm angry and frustrated at the exact same time. And so starting becomes really, really hard. And so for me, the way I like to do this, at least kind of as the first pass, is I like to do something that is called the container process. And the container process is exactly that. What we're going to do is we're going to take everything and we're going to put it into a container. And so basically the way the process unfolds is we tune into the constellation of emotions that we're experiencing. We tune into a container of some sort. We imagine, in our imagination, taking everything from that constellation, putting it inside of the container, and then tapping for everything that's in the container all at once. And so instead of going over an over-elaborate explanation of this, I actually want to give you a chance to experience this. So if you are in a circumstance where it is safe, it is comfortable for you, I would encourage you to tap along with me, and I'm just going to lead you through the container process right now. So to begin with, tap on the side of your hand, just take a nice big deep breath. And if it's safe and comfortable for you, I'd encourage you in this case to close your eyes. I find that sometimes doing imagery work and imagination is easier. And as we do this, you might not see things inside of your head. Not everybody does that when they imagine. So I'm going to say, if I say image, I mean imagine. You're going to know what's going on. And so as you tap on the collarbone, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to imagine a container of some sort. It could be a wicker basket, a ceramic pot, a stone bowl, a giant cardboard box, a hole in the ground. Doesn't matter. We just need something to hold what we want to tap on. And after you imagine your container, What I want you to do is I want you to imagine the constellation of emotions, all of the things that are going on right now. And if you don't have something big and heavy, just tune into all the emotions you're experiencing. Or if there's an area of your life where something big and heavy is going on, imagine that area of your life. And as you tap on the side of the eye and as you imagine this container, I want you to see all of the emotions, all of the thoughts, all of the concerns put into that container. Tippy top of the head. And as you do that, it might look like a pile of papers. It might look like rubbish and trash. It's all crumpled up. It might look like a group of icons, balls of light. Tap on the collarbone. But just see all of the emotion, everything that's going on in some sort of representation put into the bowl, into the container. And as you tap on the side of the hand, if you're in a circumstance while you're doing this, that the container needs to change, maybe because of the way the emotions show up, you need to change it from wicker to ceramic. Maybe you need to change the size of the container. Maybe you need multiple containers. Just see in the visualization the container change to house in an appropriate way everything that is there. Now that we have a container, now that we have everything in the container, now what we're going to do is we're going to transform what is inside of the container. And each time I do this process, it's going to be a little different. So as it's unfolding for you right now, allow it to unfold in the way that makes the most sense for you. And so as you tap on the chin, the stuff that is in the container needs to be transformed in some way. Maybe it's carried away. Maybe it's burned off. Maybe light and energy pour from above and transform it into something else. Maybe that light and energy vaporizes it. As you tap on the side of the eye, trust your instinct, trust the imagery, and see transformation happening. Side of the hand, and as the transformation happens, give yourself permission not to need to know what is going on. Collarbone, give yourself permission to know that you can release and transform without having to understand what is being released and transformed. Under the arm, if there are lessons to be learned, know that you will learn them. And as you tap on the chin and as this transformation continues, maybe it changes. Maybe it moves from light to fire. Maybe it moves from fire to water. Maybe it moves from ashes to being carried away. Just continue the process. And then just move from point to point, repeating after me. I give myself permission to release, let go, and heal. All of these things, all of these emotions, all of these memories. And as they transform, and as they release, I give myself permission to allow the healing to happen in a gentle way. The lessons that need to be learned will be learned. And just tap on the collarbone, take a nice big deep breath. Now, If I was tapping on my own, if I was tapping with a client, I would continue the process as long as I need to. And basically, we're just going to repeat, We retune into what is going on. We take what is left over. We put it into a new container. We keep it in the same container. Maybe we bring light. Maybe we bring fire. Maybe we carry it away. It doesn't matter. But we just give ourselves a chance to let this unfold in this way. Now, sometimes when you do a process like this, it's going to take care of everything. Doing the container, you're going to feel great. Other times what it's going to do is it's going to take that constellation of everything that is going on, and it's going to take an edge off of your emotional experiences. The system re-regulates. As it down-regulates into a comfortable space, then in that moment, you might be in a circumstance where all of a sudden you have more insight and more information and know where to step in next. And so this little container process can be a standalone process. It can be a process that you do at the beginning of a session to kind of set the table, or it could be something you do at the end of a session to kind of clean up everything that's still kind of floating around, but you can't quite get a grasp of it. But it's just a really simple, easy tool that makes it easy for you to engage in what you are doing and create some space and some healing. So I hope that tool is something that you find really, really useful. On the screen right now, you can actually see a link to a whole bunch more tapping tools. Click on that, and I look forward to tapping with you again sometime real soon. Bye-bye.